Are our jobs designed to make us miserable? Do you just work for a paycheck? Do you feel like you're a cog in the wheel? Are you exhausted from working since the age of 16? I'm mainly talking to people that are middle aged in their 40s or 50s or even 60s that are coming to a point in your lives where you're really reevaluating your working history and the type of work that you ended up doing. Did you make changes during your work life and switch to another career? I received hundreds and hundreds of comments to that layoff video where people were sharing their stories. They were sharing their stories of being laid off and being fired or having to retire a lot earlier than they planned for a variety of reasons. And some of the stories were truly heartbreaking. And so this really got me thinking about our work life. And specifically, I'm talking to people again that are middle aged. So when I graduated from high school, I didn't have any pressure to go to college from my parents or family. No one in my family had gone to college. And so the only reason I went to college was because I had friends and some teachers and mentors that really encouraged me to do so. And I'm really glad I did because I had a wonderful experience. But I really believe that 18 years old is just too young to decide what you want to do with your life. And what does that even mean? What do you want to do with your life? To me, and the message that I think most of us received growing up was, what do you want to do with your life? Is what do you want to do to make money so that you can live independently? A lot of people that I went to school with did not go to college and they just got regular jobs, whatever that means. Initially, they got jobs just to start paying the bills so they can move out of their parents' house. But as I look at my own life and what transpired over my working career, it's pretty clear that I just followed the typical plan, the plan that so many people I knew followed without really thinking too much about it. So the plan is that you graduate from high school. By the time you graduate, you know what you want to do with your life. If you want to become a nurse, you follow the steps to do that. If you want to become a teacher, you follow those steps. For me, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I jumped into college and started pursuing a degree in psychology. And the only reason I did that is because psychology interested me. I probably wanted to figure my own self out, and that's why I went down that road. But I had no plans to do anything after receiving a 4-year degree. I didn't have any aspirations to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a social worker. I just didn't. And as a result, I just took the first job that was presented to me that paid me a little more than I would be making without a college degree. And in my mind, I was following the plan. I was working, I was able to buy a car and start supporting myself and getting stuff that I didn't have before, that I was able to afford, that my parents weren't able to buy me when I was growing up. So for me, a job was just so that I could get stuff and be able to get it with my own money. So then, you get a job, you're doing your thing, and at some point you might get burnt out. You might decide, I want to switch careers. You look back and think, what was I thinking? I was a kid, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so you might take the steps to go back to school and do something else. I actually did that as well. I actually went to school two more times. One time I went to a community college and just took classes so I could learn some technology specific to the internet. Again, this was very early when the internet was just getting popular. And so I was learning some languages to code in so that I could create websites for people. And then in the early 2000s, after working many, many years, I was so disgusted by how leaders behaved themselves and led the organizations that I work for that I decided to go and get a master's degree. It was in an organizational management track of study and actually did really, really well. And I met some amazing people. And by doing that, I was able to advance in my career, which was wonderful for probably about 10 years. So I was able to leverage that advanced degree. I was able to get leadership positions multiple times, and I felt really good. But now I'm at the point where I've worked since I was 16 years old. I'll be 56 next month, and I'm just sick of working. And again, I was thinking about why do we work? There are people out there that are very satisfied with their work. Some people would do it for free. That's how passionate they are about the work that they do. A lot of people find themselves in roles where they have the ability to make change and make significant change. Many people are challenged by their work and want to continue to grow and learn. A lot of people are so engaged in their work that they actually lose themselves in it. For all these things I just mentioned, I can state that that has never been the case for me. All of the work that I've done since I was 16 has just been jobs, and I've just been part of the system, part of the plan. I've been able to make money, I've spent money, I've lost money, I've been able to live a fairly comfortable life. But, when you step back and think about, well, what does all this mean and why am I even doing this? You really start reevaluating your choices. For many people, work is monotonous, meaningless, and soul crushing. And for me, that makes me really sad, and again, makes me reevaluate, why do we even work? Looking back in history, the roles of families and two parents working versus just having one parent working, have evolved and changed over time. I used to hear stories of, two-parent, households that were both working, and, one of the paychecks went entirely to childcare costs if the child was, too young to be in school. Why does it seem that all we do is work, sleep, repeat? That is not the kind of life that I wanna live, but I know many people don't have a choice. Actually, majority of people don't have a choice, and that's the kind of life, most of us are living. I recently binged watched Grey's Anatomy, all 19 or 20 seasons. I had never seen the show before, and I was hooked immediately. One thing that really struck me was that the actors that were playing surgeons, they were always portraying people who were, obsessed with their work. They always said on the show, "I have to cut." And so if there was some circumstance where they were, not able to be in a surgery, it really shook them, and they just needed to cut, and they needed to keep learning and innovating new things. And I found myself watching this show and being really jealous of somebody who would have a career like that because, as I said before, never in my life have I had a job, a career path, or anything that made me that passionate. So, what I want to know from all of you guys, and it doesn't matter what age group you're in, I want to know about your career and your jobs. And was it something that you were truly passionate about? Was it something that you would have done for free? Or do you feel that you were just swept up in the rat race along with the rest of us, just getting a paycheck so that you could get stuff and have bigger cars and bigger houses and afford toys like boats and motorcycles and, cabins, second homes? I mean, the list goes on and on. One of the things I've really had to adapt to since I've been laid off is obviously reevaluating my family's expenses, and I didn't spend a lot of extra money to begin with. The older you get, you realize you don't need all that extra stuff. And I'm actually, always trying to get rid of stuff, taking it to Goodwill or whatnot. And what I've learned is that there are so many things you can cut out of your expenses, that are just frivolous and just a waste of money. My dad always used to say when I would spend money on something that he felt was, ridiculous and a waste, he said, "You might as well just be driving down the highway in your car, open your window, take $100 bill, and just let it go." And now, since I've revamped my expenses, now I'm seeing that more and more clear, that there were so many things I spent money on that were absolutely ridiculous. I think in a perfect world, it would be, of course, amazing to be doing work that's meaningful and changing people's lives, also allowing us to make a living and live comfortably. But again, that's not always the norm. So I'm really curious if you had the opportunity to have really meaningful work in your life, and what was that? Or if you could go back and start your career or your work life all over again, doing what you love, doing what you're passionate about, but also being able to support you or your family, what would that be? So thank you for watching. My name is Noelle, and I will talk to you soon.